Well, good morning. Chuck here with No Time to Be Sad. Paige. We've got a special guest here, Martin. Martin came all the way here from Chiang Mai to pay us a visit. We went to Chiang Mai about 2 or 3 years ago, and we met there, had a good meal, and you brought me a squeegee.
Well, you know, I had to make things awkward for you.
I'll never forget anybody who meets me and brings me a squeegee.
But you know why I brought you the squeegee, right?
So I'd never forget you.
No, because
I always complain about,
the bathroom's wet, the bathroom's wet.
But I don't complain anymore, though, do I?
No, I know, and only because you had the car with you. I wouldn't have brought you a squeegee if you didn't have the car.
I know.
But it was funny when you did the video, and then you're going with it on your shoulder, because I thought the car would be right there.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't right there.
Well, the reason why Martin came was he was asking me questions about my insurance, about what I had and how much it cost and all those things. And did you actually attempt to try to get insurance in Chiang Mai?
I looked at a couple of different ones, and they didn't match up very well. And then the other part was it was difficult to find someone who had good enough English if I asked questions.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, Chuck's managed to do it. You talked about your plan. You said it was a good plan. And then I looked at what you said.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And I thought, but I still have the problem. So then you gave me the name of your insurance company. Mm-hmm. And then I said, I tried the branch in Chiang Mai, and there was nobody who spoke English there. So I thought, you know what, I want to see Chuck anyway. I'll come down, and if you're okay with it, then go talk to the guy. And
so do you have anybody in Chiang Mai that could assist you with legalities and stuff, like a Thai person, or?
Not really, no, I don't. I've got the name of a lawyer there, but I haven't really gone and seen him yet, but I don't really, at that moment, no, I don't. No.
Well, since Martin's a friend of mine, I told him to come down here.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate that.
Because it doesn't, we go through Thai Life insurance, and it doesn't matter where you get the policy will be renewable anywhere.
Yeah.
I think even at some of the stores you can renew it too, huh?
You can go to bank.
Yeah, to the banks. Yeah, at your local bank you can do it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get all those details, but we don't have a plan yet for you, and we don't really know what it's going to cost.
Yeah,
you're a couple years older than me, so
couple.
Not too much. You're old enough to be my big brother.
Old enough to be buried pretty soon, you know.
So we're going to go after we eat lunch today. We're going to go walk down the street and have a good little walk. It's nice and hot today, and go check out the agent. But after we do all that, and I'll try to share as much of the cost and some of the stuff that you got, as much as we can with you guys. And then I want to ask you about some questions. What brought you to Thailand? How do you like Chiang Mai? Chiang Mai is still a very popular place, and I want to just get your opinion on Chiang Mai and how you've adapted and how long you've been here, and your blood type, your social security number, stuff like that.
Yeah, a prostate examination.
Okay,
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
It's okay. I'll cut that out.
I left at 17.
Okay, we're off to the insurance company. It's not really close, but me and Paige didn't go on our walk this morning because of me and my little project I got going on right now, which I'll let you guys know about it pretty soon. You want some peppers? But yeah, so I said, why not? While it's so hot outside, let's go for a walk. Never mind, the sun's right there. It's like friggin' hot. I don't want Martin's skull to like fry, you know?
Yeah.
That's true. It's fried already.
I see a tuk-tuk right there.
Wake him up.
Yeah. Let's wake his ass up. Tuk-tuk.
ไปไทยประกันเลยนะไทยประกัน
Non-win. 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 Non-win.
โอ้ นั่นไม่เลยนะบ่มีคนโอ้ยบ่มี
Okay, so you got a fork and a spoon. Okay, we are here. It's just in front of, there's the post office, and the river's just over here. But here we are, right here. So let's get our 100% face mask on. We don't want to have any COVID in here. Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera off. And here's our beautiful insurance agent right here. Of course, she's wearing a mask, but she's still beautiful. I brought Martin over here, said I was going to help him. I'm just sitting in the chair looking at my Facebook, and Paige is doing all the work, actually. That was painless. I tried to set him up with my insurance agent, but I didn't realize she already had a husband and a kid, so you're out on that deal. We'll talk about what he got. He actually got the exact same policy that I got, which is a really good policy, which I shared in the video that I'll share again in the description box. This is where I got my pump went out in the house. I bought it here, but every time I come here, this guy always has everything. This is the smartest Thai man in Thailand. You can tell by his shirt, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit that one out for sure. Okay, thank you very much. He had a soldering iron. I'll see you again. Okay. Don't give me shit about the shirt. It was just a joke, no politics. It's just funny seeing a guy on the opposite side of the planet Earth wearing a Trump shirt. The thing about it in Thailand is they have these little stores where a lot of the people don't even know what they have. I've seen people with Hitler shirts on or go F yourself shirt. They don't really know. Maybe this guy does, I don't know. But anyway, I'm just saying lighten up. If he was wearing a, anyway, he could have been wearing any shirt. I'm sure it's going to offend somebody. I don't want to hear it. I could have edited it out, but I think it's funny. So what did Hop? I got to bring him a new flag. I have these little flags that I want to give him to put on his little crazy little motorbike, but I always forget some American flags. Okay, so real quick, Martin's a little older than me. Martin's 63. Is it okay I share that?
Yeah, 63, but you know, everybody loves this. Who wouldn't want this body?
Here we go, here we go.
You know?
You're super sexy in Thailand. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard it a couple times.
A body only my mother could love.
So, Paige is my obstacle guide. Step, doo-doo, hole, yeah. Spike, nail, small person. Anyway, he got the same policy that I got, and it was 39,000. Where were you on that one? I almost died. Sawatdee krap.
Sawatdee krap.
ก็นะอยู่ไหนไปไหนไม่ไปครับวันนี้ไม่ไปวันนี้เดิน I don't know why he recognizes me from NakhonPhanom. Maybe he's seen me on my bike. Anyway, 39,000 baht. Which is about, what is that, like $1,300 US dollar, something like that? Something like that. I don't know, I don't have a calculator in my pocket. Well, actually I do, but I'm walking. So, anyway, that's for the entire year. It's a 20-year term policy. Has to be renewed once a year. And it comes with also some benefits. It comes with some life insurance. How much was the life insurance? 200,000 baht. That'll get you burned up.
That'll get you burned up.
And give it to whoever wants to handle that.
Yep.
And also has some benefits, which I share in the video of my insurance. You know, if you get illness or you have to stay in a hospital, it pays you a certain amount of money for things like that. So, but the thing about this insurance is it's It's really kind of a no questions asked because it's a Thai policy, so they don't have to try to fish around, you know, a Canadian policy or American policy or this. It's in Thailand, so it's already accepted and it's no issues. But it's got to go from here to the main office, get approved. What they'll do is they'll look at his, you know, if he's had a couple of some checkups with some issues already, but they're going to look into that and then they'll get back with him in a couple of days. So it'll be a few days before I make this video. If there's any changes, I'll add it to the video. But it shouldn't be anything, because that's the same thing they did to me.
Yeah.
They just sent it into the office. They got to verify.
Yeah.
And if it was nothing major, then I had to go just make the payment, and then I got the card and the book in the mail. Yeah. Anyway, let's get home. It's cool. It's nice and cold outside. It's probably like 35 right now. You want to fish? That one's well done. There's always something going on in our temple. Was the temple busy this morning when you came?
Yeah, it was pretty busy. Something going on right now.
I sent him to the museum. How was the museum?
That was good. It was actually very good. Give you a little history there. It was great.
And a lot of the stuff is in English there.
Yeah.
A lot of government vans here. Is that the military? We could convert one of these into a motorhome, you know that? You want a lottery ticket? It's a lottery ticket alley.
สแกน
ต้องทิ้งเอาไว้ไม่เพราะว่าแม่เกิดกินมากไม่ใช่เพื่อนฝั่งหน้าเพื่อนไปกินรอบเขาเมื่อกี้นั่นต้องใช้เอา
Non-win
เดินเล่นรอบบ่ายล่ะคะ
ใช่เดินรอ
เดินกลางแดดรอบบ่าย
Well, anyway, today was pretty simple. I'm going to leave a link to the video on my insurance so you can see basically what our policies are. If you're watching it like on a TV, you could just type this in on your TV and it'll take you to the video. So if you don't want to try to get on your computer. So you're Canadian and Irish. What's the story on that?
I grew up in Northern Ireland until I was 17, and then I moved from Northern Ireland, went to Canada. My family all stayed there, and then stayed there, and I was there in Canada until 4 years ago, and been in Thailand 4 years, so coming 2 years and living 2 years, so a total of 4 years.
So you were born in Ireland.
I was actually born in Scotland, but right after I was born, my dad was in the Navy, and he got transferred back to Northern Ireland and went right back. So I consider myself more from Northern Ireland than Scotland, even though I was born in Scotland. And, so because I was left, I was just a little tiny baby. Yeah.
And you've been in Thailand for 4 years.
4 years coming and 2 years full time, and but I say 4 years because I was in for long periods. So it's pretty much 4 years.
So what were you doing those 2 years? Were you like tourist visas or?
Yeah, I had the tourist visa, and then I would go and I did do the tourist, skip over the border and do a tourist visa thing, and it was good. Like it was 5 months, I think, was the longest I stayed, and I liked it. But I was come check it out, and I think it's a good way to do it, is to check it out, don't come for just 1 month. I mean, that's just my experience, and nobody should base their experience on my experience, but I think it's good to stay longer than a month, stay longer, and then you start to get a feel for the place, and you can see, how the locals are, and you can see where you might want to live, and that's why I came that way. Yeah.
And then you decided that after 2 years that get the visa.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to come anyway. But
You got the visa in Bangkok or
no, I got the visa in Chiang Mai.
Chiang Mai?
Yes, and it was good. That the process was good. I did the first year. I did it myself, filled everything out. It was a long process in the sense of, you're worried about filling all those paperwork and getting it exactly right and doing it perfectly, and it went okay. The first thing that happened was when I got back to pick up the visa, it turned out that I looked at it and it goes, they got the dates wrong in the visa. They only gave me a 30-day visa. So I was trying to explain it to the Thai lady and she wasn't understanding it. And she called over somebody who spoke English who was Thai and said, oh no, there's another step after the 30 days, then you get your full 1-year visa. So that was when I realized, okay, it's still okay. They just didn't explain the last step to me, and that's what happened. So, and that worked out great.
So you have an O.
Yes, an O visa. Yeah.
So doing it your way is what I recommend doing, because if you get an hang on a second. Cut. Anyway,
Thailand.
if you get a retirement visa outside of the country, it's going to automatically be an OA visa, which requires some additional work.
Yeah.
Insurance, which could be kind of difficult if you're over the age of 65.
That's right.
Not just that, but expensive.
Yeah.
If you want to go that route, it's pretty easy. I made a video on how to stay in Thailand long term, and in that video has a lot of links and stuff for you to do the research on the insurance and all that stuff too. That you have to get that's required of you to get prior to coming into Thailand. But if you come for like a tourist visa and you decide, all right, this is it, I want to do this, then you can get your visa while you're in here, and it's a lot easier to maintain an O visa than an OA visa. As of now, who knows, things could change. Things could get easier for the OA and harder for the O, who knows. But as of right now, and it has been this way ever since the rules started, the insurance rules applied to the OA, there is none on an O. It's not required of us. Now, he just got insurance today because that's what he wanted to do. And
Chuck was given good information on his insurance, and I looked into others, different insurance companies and so on, and listened to everybody. And I felt that Chuck's was the best for what I wanted, and everybody has to decide what they want. But it worked for me, and then I thought, okay, I wanted to see Chuck anyway, and I thought, well, come down. And because he speaks Thai better, I did go to the same office in Chiang Mai, and
I sat and watched,
and it wasn't good. And so I thought, if Chuck can explain it, maybe if I have questions, he can explain it, and so on. And we went up, and it turned into. I got exactly what he has, except I'm a few years older. I'm 63, so obviously it's going to cost a little bit more.
You've been here 2 years, so you here to stay? You thinking about ever going back to Canada, or?
No, I never want to go back to Canada.
What about in Ireland, or?
Well, I say I never want to go back to Canada. I never want to go back to Ireland necessarily either. I made my life, wherever I am, that's where I make my life. And, but if health concerns come up or something happens and I have a choice, then at least I'm lucky that I have a choice. I could go back to Ireland, I could go back to Canada. If you go back to Canada, you have a 3-month waiting period to get your medical OHIP, what we call OHIP, an Ontario Hospital Insurance Plan, to get reconnected with that. So if something happened bad and you had to go back, you're not going to be able to immediately go to the hospital and they're going to take care of you and it's not going to cost you anything. It's not like that. But you're going to need insurance, and even in Canada, you still need insurance for the extra things that you have to pay for. So no, I wanted to make it here, and that was really why the insurance was so important, because I wanted to know that I have some security for a long period of time. And yes, if you get cancer or something serious and you have to go back, you go back. But at that time, the way I view it is that's the end stages of your life. Doesn't matter really where you die. It doesn't really matter. Now, I'm not saying everybody should look at it that way. That's just the way I look at it.
So you live in Chiang Mai. Is that where you stay in Chiang Mai? Or?
Yeah, I like Chiang Mai very much.
What do you like the most about Chiang Mai?
Well, I like the old city. I like the fact that you're close to the mountains. You can go out, like you can get out of Chiang Mai very quickly. The way I put in my time is to get on the scooter and go for scooter runs. Sorry, motorcycle in Thailand, and
It's a damn moped.
exactly. It's a damn moped, and I just love getting out and going and doing things, and so I love
So
that.
you're not an ocean person. Then.
No, because I burn. Like, look at me. Like,
I know your scalp's kind of red today.
yeah.
I should have lent you a hat.
I know. I should. I have a hat and I didn't take it with me. That's how stupid I am.
But what about the only thing that I haven't spent much time in Chiang Mai, but I have a lot of friends and people, subscribers that do live there. We have family members that live there, and the smoke is crazy bad. So
Yeah.
tell me about the smoke.
Yeah, it goes on for about 3 months in the smoky season. I have one of those air cleaner things that I have in my, thing, and it helps quite a bit. But yeah, the smoke's bad. If you're asthmatic or something, then I don't think Chiang Mai would be the place for you in smoky
What are
season.
the months, the key months?
It really is. I would say, when does it start? February or March it starts, and it goes on for like 3-4 months. 3 months. I would say 3 months is solid. And because Chiang Mai is surrounded by mountains, I think it keeps the smoke in.
It's kind of a valley.
Yeah. So you're not getting a lot of air to sort of push it out, and But you can go like that's the time I would go away for a little bit, but I don't go away for the whole 3 months. And I think for me, it's routines is the biggest thing, and I am more of a homebody, and I like my routines. I have my certain places I go for coffee. There's certain things I like to do. I like to go people watching, so there's certain malls I like to go to. And
Are you all in on the Thai food, or do you? And I know there's a lot of phalang food and foreign food available in Chiang Mai. So do you eat foreign food still, or?
I eat foreign food quite a bit, but Radna guy and Pad CU guy, and that's maybe a couple other things. That's about all I eat. I don't like the high spicy thing. I'm not into the spice, so. But you can there's so much food in Chiang Mai, you can find it. But of course, you'll get more.
Mexican food too.
Oh, really good Mexican restaurant.
Next time.
Yeah. If you're looking for a good Mexican restaurant in Chiang Mai, it's sort of across from Cat San Cow Mall, the old mall, and it's just up the street a little bit across the road, and very good Mexican food.
What about expat community? I mean, expats in general there. You have any issues with expats there? Or?
Well, I prefer not to be around a lot of expats because I'm not, sometimes they'll spout off about things, and I guess the Scottish and Irish in me would come out, and so,
the accent came out pretty good too right there, by God.
So, it's like, if you're a sensible person, I don't care where you're from, what you are, but if you're sort of trying to dictate how you should live your life, I'm not really a good person for giving that kind of information, because I think everybody's entitled to choose their own way in their own life. So, and I've met some nice ones, but I do see some of them, and because of being there long enough now, I see and I go, wouldn't be the person for me to hang out with, And I don't go to bars, I don't drink. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if I go to a bar and somebody spouts off, I know it's not going to go good, and I don't really want that circumstance. So.
Sorry, it's 5 o'clock. Paige is coming in here to get her beer.
Paige comes in, yes. That's Paige.
Tell me about, you don't have to get too far in depth about Thai relationships, but and we can edit this out right now. But you told me you had a girlfriend last time we met 3 years ago.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend pretty much off and on for about 4 years.
The same girlfriend?
Same girlfriend, yeah. And
you're gonna make me drink this on camera?
Yeah.
What is that, mine, and the other one's yours?
Yeah, I had a good. She's a nice girl, a great girl in many ways. There's no question about it. She's a great person, and I was absolutely crazy, but still am crazy about her.
How did you meet this girl?
Well, that was some fun. I'm going to tell that. I guess you want that story, but yeah. I
As
was.
long as it's not too long, we don't have much time.
Okay. No, what happened was when you first come to Chiang Mai or you first come to Thailand, you find your place where you go for your coffee and you go to eat. That's a kind of important thing to do. So I would go to this restaurant and fairly frequently because I had foreigner food, and I met this girl. She was serving there, and she was a lot of fun, but I wasn't really interested because I was new here. And but we became friends. We were friends, and I was friends with the owner and friends with the other lady there because we were going so frequently. And then I just met her, and I chatted with her, and she was fun, but she didn't speak much English. And so she eventually, as will happen to you if you come to Thailand, she says to me, you want a girlfriend? And I go, no, I don't want a girlfriend, and meaning that I'm just here. I haven't, I don't know her yet. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. If I meant to say if I find one, fine, that would be nice. But anyway, I said, no, I don't want a girlfriend. Well, of course, she goes back to her boss, and she says to the boss, how come Kun Martin not want girlfriend? How he not love beautiful? And that was this. So she still would tease me all the time about, no, you not want girlfriend. I know, okay, thanks, I got it. So that's how I met her, and she was a blast, and we ended up just going out. And
She's in her 40s, you said.
Yeah, she's 40, yeah. So she wasn't like a 20-year-old or something.
Yeah.
And she's a great person, but had some issues, not terrible issues, but she had some things she needed to figure out in her life. Mm-hmm.
So are you guys are obviously not together today?
No, not together. And I only broke up with her a short time ago, so it was just there were cultural differences. There's no question about it. And I'm not blaming her for that, or it's just.
Well, I'm not going to be a counselor today, but just wanted to get a little bit of information on.
There are differences
on that, but so
yeah,
that's a lot of people ask that question about relationships, and I always go back, and we talked about this earlier, that you have to be an extremely flexible person.
Yes.
Because this culture's nothing like we're used to, and a lot of times they don't know how to react to our needs.
Exactly.
They don't know how to explain things to us, and we seem to always want to try to wrap our head around everything.
Right.
And they're not like that, and they don't understand what you're trying. Why are you asking these questions? And they don't know how to reply to you. So it becomes challenging, I think, for us. But you really got to be.
Yes.
But I always say, the women probably struggle a lot harder than we do with them, because. They come from where they're so, not all of them, but a lot of them are really kind of just survive. I don't know what they're thinking. Now all of a sudden they've got to try to still be happy and try to figure out, how the hell do I please this guy? And I won't shut up,
Yeah, no, it's not easy, but the cultures are different. And, I think when you come, you don't really understand that too well. It's different, but you're not really in tune with what that means. And I'm not sure I'm in tune with it all, but I understand it a little bit. Like, I understand that the family is so important in Thailand, and I understand that. And we, from the West, when I say this, it's all generalization. There are always exceptions. But when we come from the West, if you come from the UK, you come from Canada, you come from America, we're sort of brought up that when you're 18 or you're going to leave home, you're going to go
and get married,
and you're going to get off starting your life and your career, and you're going to start doing that. That was the way when I grew up, which has changed a bit now, but that was the way it was. And so we're more sort of take charge, get on with it, what needs happening, if you don't have money, what I'm going to do for money. And you sort of develop your career over a long time, and then things start getting better. Like when I came, I think I was making $5 an hour working in a warehouse, and it was a horrible job because it was filthy dirty and hot in the summer, and you're under a tin roof, and the stuff stuck to you and everything. But you take the first job you can get, because that's all you can do when you're just new to a country. And so I took the first job I could get, and then I went from that into a better position inside, working in the office, and then I went outside working in sales, and so on. Then I started a company years later, and so on. But that's the evolving sort of process. But when you come to Thailand, the family is, I'm going to say this and I'm probably going to get some heat about it, but the foreigner is not number one. He is not number one. The family is number one. The children is number two, or maybe the children is number one and the family is number two. The aunts and uncles, the brothers and sisters, they're all way ahead of you. And, and I'm not sure whether then the foreigner is before the buffalo or after the buffalo, but, that's basically the way, that's where you are on the stepping stone ladder. So now I'm saying that does not mean that every Thai is like that, but it's like you have to realize that they're family oriented. The Buddhist influence is extremely important. And they're always going to care about their family. And that's a great thing, because I think in the West, what do? We wait till they get old and let's ship them into some building and leave them with all the other old people. I don't think that's necessarily the best way either.
A lot of people are, they want to keep all their pennies, and
Yeah.
not to pick on them, because we've all had bad experiences in our lives, but, they have this big concern that they're just only in it to win it, only in it for the money, and when the money runs out, that's the end of the game, right? But if you don't know how to play the game and you're living on a budget and you spit your load, then whose fault is that? But that could happen anywhere, not just Thailand.
Yeah, and like 50% of marriages break up in Canada, roughly.
You've been married how many times?
I was married once, but take advice. After 15 years, we had to split up. So we split up. And of course, because I am the way I am, I said, everybody needs a second chance. No, they don't. They don't. And we got back together and we had another 15 years. But, I look on it positively overall, that it costs a lot. But I look on it positively because someone gave you 30 years of their life. They still made a commitment and were with you 30 years of your life. But people change over time, and people have different needs, and they evolve differently. And so marriages break up in Thailand, marriages break up in Canada. If things can work out well, good. And if they're not working out, you don't have to get to the end and say, okay, well, this person caused me this problem. No, there were clues there for a long time that wasn't working, and you have to realize that. So blaming every Thai woman for doing this or doing that, it's not correct. There are good Thai women, there are good Thai families, and there are good families back home as well. But you have to realize, have a little bit of streetwise and say, this isn't looking good here. If that's not looking good, I better get out of it.
It's difficult to say, let's try to give some advice to people with Thai women, or it's difficult because, this is just common sense, I think, globally. Like if you get in a relationship anywhere in the world, you got to kind of know what you're getting into, But, I know there's a big cultural difference and a language barrier, but you should still. I made a video about don't get married in Thailand, but it was just about the fact that in our culture, that's what we want to do. We want to get married. And it's not necessarily that way here.
Right.
Unless it's a younger girl, then, then it's expected. Yeah. But most of the time, they don't want to get married. No. The ones that I've talked to, they could care less about really getting married, But anyway, the video was more about... I don't know, you'll have to watch the video. I'll share it. It's in a bad... I did it with my cell phone. It was a lot of traffic, and I always get grief for that. But the video is pretty decent. But I try not to give too much advice on that because, as adults, we should know that you should be careful about anything you get into, whether it's a career, a home, a car. Not to put women in the categories of things, but we should know. What. Well, and people do change after a while too. After 15 years, and I've been married. This is my third marriage, and people change after a while. I change, they change, and we got to do what we have to do to be happy. But anyway, you lost I mean, I can tell you me, and I've told people this before, I've lost everything.
Yeah.
On two times.
Yeah.
Lost everything.
Yeah.
Loaded up my crap in a garbage bag, threw it in the back of my piece of crap Tahoe,
Yeah.
tied up my piece of crap bass boat, and I left. I left everything, and
Yeah.
I've had to start over again. But
Yeah.
what's the difference in I mean, it probably cost you a lot less in Thailand, you know, if that happened.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely. And also, you know, the thing is that, you know, of course, if you're in a loving relationship, you're going to do things for each other's family. Like your wife's going to do something for your family, and you're going to do something for her family. And it's just automatic, like, you're going to do some things. The thing is, when you realize that it's not being done for the right reasons, then you got to say, okay, this has gone too far. And that can happen at times. But you also have to realize, what I have to realize, that, you know, they are looking at us because we have more incomes. We go out and we spend 300 baht on a dinner or a lunch for ourselves, and their daily income is 300 baht if they're working in lower income positions in Thailand. So they're looking at you like you're all super rich. Well, we're not all super rich. We have certain assets and we have certain amount of money, but we're not all rich. But from their point of view, if you spend 300 baht, and it took all day for that person to make that, it's understandable that they would start seeing you in that way. You know,
I've learned from talking to many Thai people, they're very stereotypical of us. You know, I kind of think we all, money's easy where we come from, you know, but they don't understand it. Anyway, that's a different story. But,
well, the thing is, you're going to, like, I think, if you're lucky enough to find a good person here, or in Canada, or America, or wherever, then you've hit the jackpot. You find a decent person. And it's not about, yes, you can get a 20-year-old that looks beautiful and all of this, and you can do all those things, but it's how does the person make you feel when you're with them? And are you enjoying their company? Are you looking forward to seeing them? Do you when you go for a walk or something and you're doing nothing special, do you actually enjoy it? And it's more about how you feel when you're with the person. It's not about looks. For me, it's not about looks. Don't get me wrong, I love a beautiful woman, but you know, it's really more about the enjoyment of being with the person. Do they add to your life or take away from your life? And if they're adding to your life, you're going to probably have a very successful relationship, and it can last whatever length of time it's going to last. But enjoy it while it's there, and if it's gone, you'll go on a different path tomorrow. And that's what we're at.
you know, I do things for my family here. I mean, I know what my limit is. I know what my budget is.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not going to say, "Oh, I need a new vehicle," or "We got to upgrade our home." If that was the case, I'd be like, "I don't think so."
No.
Why? You know, why do you need me to add on to your home? What is this all about? You know, I look like an ATM machine. But if I was just loaded up, rich, and it made me happy to do that, then I would do it. But I know my limitations and what I want to do, and that's not something that I would feel comfortable doing. I don't have to worry about that because my wife is more frugal than me. So she's always trying to keep me from buying crap. So do you rent? You got your own condo, or do you rent a house, an apartment, or?
I rent an apartment, 6,500 baht a month, and it's nice. You know, it's small. It's just what we would call
like $250.
It's a studio apartment. It doesn't have a kitchen, but I have my hot plate and whatever if I wanted to cook there. Usually I eat out, but I do cook there, and I have an air fryer that I use every now and then. And it's actually quite nice. So when I came, and I'd already stayed in this apartment, so I knew what it was. I repainted the whole thing and made it nice, bought curtains and Chesterfield and bed, and they had a bed there, of course, and they had a Chesterfield there, an old Chesterfield. So, you know, I probably put in between 5,000 and 6,000 stuff to make it look nice, but 6,500 baht a month, plus utilities on top of that, water and electricity, and so it's very, very low. But I mean, I'm living in a small apartment for the amount of money that I would have paid in Canada for a cell phone, for internet and for cable. So that pays for my apartment. The amount I would pay in Canada for those things pays for my apartment. And so I'm making money by what I'm saving every month. And it suits me very well. You can go rent condos, you know, we'll go from 10,000 up in Chiang Mai. But I'm perfectly happy in the apartment. And the reason I got the apartment as opposed to going to the condo was not just to save money, but it was because I wanted to be local with the Thai people. I didn't want to be in an apartment building with, or a condo where they're all Farangs. I'm not meeting anybody local. I'm not having any communication with them. So it suits me very well. And then when you go out, you see the little lady who makes food next door, and you see the people across the street and the dry cleaners there, and you get to know them. And you know, like I'm friendly with the dry cleaning lady. She's a lovely lady, and I know the lady that makes the food next door, and the little grocery store. But I enjoy that because when you're out walking around, you're Sawadi capping them. No, I say Sawadi capping them. You know, when I first came to Thailand, I would say to my buddy, I'd go, oh, Sawadi capped so-and-so last time, you know. And he just started laughing. Oh, God, you're Sawadi capped her, you know.
So you don't do a lot of traveling?
No. I've been a few places. I've been to Hue An, Purchua. Where else did I go? There was somewhere else.
I mean, in your normal monthly routine, you know.
No.
What I'm getting at, I'm trying to. You don't have to tell me exact, but what is your budget? You think?
It's between 20 and 30,000 that a month, and
that's what you typically spend a month.
Yeah,
you don't drink alcohol.
I'm not a drinker, so obviously I'm saving a lot on not drinking. But I just don't drink it. It's just not my thing, and but. You know, you can do it even with the getting the insurance. I mean, that insurance is probably what, $150 a month or something. You can figure it out. It was $39,233 back, whatever that exchange is. And but I could still pay that within the 20 and 30,000 baht a month. I can do that. If you're in other areas, like if you're in Hue An or if you're in Phuket, you're going to pay more. That was the other place I went, Kamala Beach. You're going to pay more, but it just works out for me. I don't have a car, so I don't have the car expense. So if you're figuring out, come to Thailand, you should figure out enough for, you know, what furniture will I need? Do I need a car? Am I going to get a motorcycle? How much will my health insurance cost? You need to figure out all of those things and get yourself an idea of what you think it is. And I say to people with the health insurance thing, it's going to cost you between $100 to $200 for most people. That's the range you're going to be in. Yeah, you got to. I think people just have to think about those things, but don't get too wound up about it. You know, when you come here, have some expectation in mind, and then see where it goes, and find the place you want to live, and move around a bit if you want. You know, move around until you find the place.
So on your immigration stuff, for your 800,000, how do you what do you do to manage that?
Well, I moved it over. I moved the 800,000. Well, it was actually just over $1 million baht that I brought over, and I put it in the bank. It's basically sitting there, and that's the way I did it. You know, you can do if you're Canadian, you can get the letter, and if you can prove your income, you can do it that way. But I still moved over the 800,000 just in case in Thailand, the future, that it changed in any way. I'd have that money sitting there. So just you know, you need the 800,000 baht.
So do you use that money?
I haven't used it. You know, I've used a part of it, but I haven't gone below the.
You transfer money?
I transfer money all the time. Yeah, I transfer money. I keep my bank accounts in Canada, and then I transfer money. Of course, you pay. One of the things I couldn't learn, I was being cautious when I came, because I thought, okay, somebody steal your card over here, and then they can take out a massive amount of money. Well, so I put small limit on how much could be transferred. So basically, I take 20,000 baht at a time I can take out, and then
how do you transfer?
I just do a ATM.
What does that cost you?
It's about 220 baht here. And I think your bank charges $4 or $5. So it's quite expensive. Don't do it that way. I made the mistake, but I was being cautious. If somebody steals it, then they can only get a small limit. But what you should do is do it a different way, and there are ways you can take more out of the account. But I set up my accounts back home on purposely so that nobody could take out a lot.
Yeah.
And that probably wasn't the best idea from the cost of taking money out. So
So you said you have Bangkok Bank?
yes.
Did you have any issues getting an account?
No problem at all.
Did you have the account prior to getting your long-term visa?
No, I don't think I did. No,
You got it after?
I got it after. Yeah.
So any plans for a new girlfriend?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you meet somebody, that's fine. But I'm just going to take it as I want to find the right person, and if I find a good quality person, then that's great. But I'll just go around, and when I meet someone, someone grabs your attention, and then see if they can become friends and see if you feel the same way, and go that way. One of the things that's easy here is you won't have any problem meeting people. It's quite funny. Like I was in a store there just before I came down here buying some things. And I was being nice to the person, and they just say, "Oh, what about this? I was buying something for a lady." It was for Paige and her mom. And I said, I'm trying to figure out the size. Oh, is that you up against you? Oh, yeah, I think that's Paige. It's about the same size. And I'm going through this, and she was really a lovely person, and yakking away to her. And I was trying to be, I hope you don't mind me holding this up in front of you just to sort of get an idea. And she said, "Oh, you said you live here?" I go, "Oh yeah, I live here." She goes, "You have a wife?" I said, "No, I don't have a wife." "Oh," she goes, "Yeah. You come back and see me again? My name Nui." I go, "Okay, Nui, I'll come back in and see you sometime." So I won't. She's not the person for me. But it was just like you have these hilarious conversations, and to me, it's fun. You just meet interesting people. Thai people are I find them fascinating, but then I'm a people watcher, so I guess that's...
We might have some comments in the comment box, maybe if you don't mind answering. I mean, sure,
Sure.
there's a limit, of course, of what... I'll delete the bad ones, trust me, I don't see those. But, yeah, I just wanted Martin to kind of share his little experience and what he's going through. I've done several interviews with people, really just kind of basically sharing their experience, of how they're transitioning into Thailand, and I think it's a great place to be. I'm so happy that we're here right now during this time.
Me too.
I couldn't imagine being anywhere else right now, but a lot of people are chomping at the bits to get here.
Yeah.
And this information is good for them to kind of get an idea what to expect. Insurance is always...
Yes.
From where we come, we have to have insurance. Really, if you just have an O visa here, you typically don't necessarily have to have insurance.
No, but I think it's a good thing to have.
It is a good thing to have.
I think it's a good thing to have.
And I recommend doing it. I'm just saying, it's not, you can pay, as you go. But, I've had good friends here that have passed away with cancer and issues and stuff, or heart attacks, and, it just was dipped way too far down in their budget.
Right.
Which is a shame, because now you're dead. That's it. It's over, so. But anyway, that's really all I wanted to really talk about on that. And
Well, I hope it didn't bore everybody.
we're gonna go eat. I appreciate everything. Martin's been buying my damn breakfast, lunch, dinner. He won't stop.
You don't need to worry.
So we're gonna go have a meal, and you're headed back tomorrow to. He's going to spend another night in NakhonPhanom. He really likes NakhonPhanom. And I recommend people come to NakhonPhanom for sure. So,
no, it's good.
Anyway, all right. We'll see you guys on the next video.